Unifying themes in the study of life. Objectives. After watching this video, you should be able to 1. Briefly describe unifying themes that pervade the science of biology. 2. Understand better how the changes happen in every aspect of life. 3. Give information about what kind of role does each theme play. 4. Find out how they are connected with each other. Biological systems. Have you ever heard the saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts? It captures the importance of how a combination of parts can form a more complex organization called a system. A system has properties that are based on the arrangement and interactions of its parts. Your body, like that of any organism, is a living system. You make use the interactions among its parts when you type on a keyboard or click a computer mouse. The joints in your fingers and wrists give your hand a wide range of movement, but your bones themselves cannot move. Movement depends on contractions of the muscles attached to the bones. Muscles are coordinated by signals from the brain, carried by nerves. Finally, blood vessels supply all of these parts with oxygen and food. Together, the parts of your body enable you to work the computer. You are certainly more than the sum of your parts, and so are all biological systems. An ecosystem such as forest is also a biological system. Like your body, an ecosystem has properties that depend on how its parts interact. For example, the organisms in the ecosystem require a steady supply of certain chemicals to live. Plants obtain most of their necessary chemicals from the soil, water, and air. Animals acquire most of their chemicals they need by eating plants or other animals. Chemicals are returned to the soil by bacteria and fungi that decompose the waste and remains of organisms. You could say that such interactions of organisms with each other and with the non-living environment put the system in ecosystem. The biological system theme applies to all levels of time, from the biosphere all the way down to the interactions of molecules in cells. The cellular basis of life. All organisms are made of cells. Most multicellular organisms have cells that are specialized for different functions. Two examples of specialized cells in your body are your muscle cells, which contract and enable you to move, and your nerve cells, which transmit impulses that control your muscles. In most multicellular organisms, cells are organized into higher levels of organization. Beginning with the cellular level, the next is the tissue, which is a group of similar cells that together perform a specific function. For example, nerve tissue consists of many nerve cells organized into a complex network. Several types of tissue together may make up a structure called an organ. The brain is an organ that consists of nerve tissue and other types of tissue. Finally, several organs that together carry out a major body function make up an organ system. In this example, the brain, spinal cord, and nerves make up the organ system called the nervous system. A multicellular organism's development and survival are based on the functions and interactions of its many cells. The cellular basis of life is a theme you will encounter often as you explore the living world. Form and function. The aerodynamic shape of a bird's wing is a living example of the form-fits-function theme. The structure of the bird's bones contributes to the bird's ability to fly. Inside the bones, an open honeycomb-like structure provides great strength with little weight. The form-fits-function theme also extends down to the cellular level. For example, birds have long extensions of nerve cells that control their flight muscles. These fibers make it possible for the bird's brain to coordinate flying movements. As you explore the structure of life, you'll discover the harmony of form and function everywhere. How something works is related to its structure. In other words, form fits function. Reproduction and inheritance. Like begets like is an old saying that describes the ability of organisms to reproduce their own kind. Genes are responsible for family resemblance. Recall also that genes are made of information-rich molecules called DNA. Each cell in your body contains a copy of the entire DNA that you inherited from your mother and father. When a cell divides, it copies its DNA and passes this genetic information onto each of the two cells it produces. How is this information passed from parent organisms to offspring? In humans, an egg cell from the mother fuses with a sperm cell from the father. The result is a fertilized cell containing a combination of DNA from both parents. The inherited DNA directs transformation of the fertilized egg into a person with his or her own eye color, facial features, and other characteristics. Interaction with the environment. No organism is completely isolated from its surroundings. As part of an ecosystem, each organism interacts continuously with its environment. For example, a plant obtains water and nutrients from the soil, carbon dioxide gas from the air, and energy from sunlight. The plant uses these three inputs from its environment for photosynthesis, the process by which plants make food. Likewise, the plant also has an impact on its surroundings. For example, as the plant grows, its roots break up rocks and release acids that change the soil. This affects the types of organisms that can live in the soil. Plants also release oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Other organisms as well as plants use this oxygen for their own survival. The transfer of chemicals between organisms and their environment is a key process in any ecosystem. Think about your own chemical exchanges with the outside world. You breathe air, drink water, eat food, and get rid of waste products. Living requires a daily balance of such inputs and outputs. Energy and life. Moving, growing, reproducing, and other activities of life require organisms to perform work. Work depends on a source of energy. Energy is obtained in chemical form in sugars, fats, and other fuel-like molecules in your food. Your cells use this energy for all their works. On a bigger scale, you can trace energy through an ecosystem. Energy flows into an ecosystem as sunlight and exceeds in the form a simplified of this energy flow through a forest ecosystem. Note how the ecosystem's organisms convert one form of energy to another. What happens to the chemical energy stored in the food that consumers eat? It is converted to other forms of energy as the organism carries out its life activities. Moving, thinking, breathing, seeing, and everything else you do require your cells to convert some of the chemical energy of food into other forms of energy. Regulation. The ability of organisms to regulate their internal conditions is an example of homeostasis or steady state, a mechanism that makes organisms regulate their internal conditions despite changes in their external environment. Such activity can be observed in mammals like humans, birds, and other forms of organisms. For example, you have a thermostat in your brain that reacts whenever your body temperature varies slightly from 37 degrees Celsius. If this internal thermostat detects a slight rise in your body temperature on a hot day, your brain signals your skin to produce sweat. Sweating helps cool your body. Panting is another example of a cooling mechanism. You have probably seen a dog pant on a hot day. But did you know that some birds also pant? Panting causes moisture on the large surface of the animal's lungs to evaporate, cooling the body as a result. Adaptation. An adaptation is an inherited trait that helps the organism's ability to survive and reproduce in its particular environment. It is a change in the species over generations in order to better survive in the environment. Evolution. Natural selection is the mechanism by which evolution occurs. The term evolution means a process of change. Biologists use the word evolution specifically to mean a generation-to-generation change in the proportion of different inherited genes in a population. For example, in the beetle example, genes for dark color are becoming more common and genes for light color are becoming less common over generations of beetles. The beetle population is said to be undergoing evolution or evolving. Below is a hypothetical example of natural selection in a beetle population. The individual beetles vary in colors from light gray to charcoal. Each beetle's color is determined by its genes. Now imagine that the soil has recently been blackened by a fire. For birds that eat the beetles, it is easiest to spot the beetles that are lightest in color. On average, the darker beetles have a better chance of surviving and reproducing, passing their genes for dark color onto their offspring. In contrast, the lighter beetles are captured more easily, and fewer survive to produce offspring. After many generations, most of the beetles in the population are dark. This abundance of dark color is an adaptation of the beetle population to its environment. Biology and society. More than ever before, modern biology is changing humans' everyday lives. New findings about DNA affect such fields as medicine and agriculture. Research on the nervous system is improving the treatment of certain mental illnesses. The study of evolution is helping health professionals understand how disease-causing bacteria become resistant to antibiotic drugs.
Created using Powtoon. Created using Powtoon.